All right, guys, it is Wednesday. I'm here at the gym. I want to sit and talk with you guys for a minute. And if you do nothing in this video, watching this section of the video is probably more important than watching the training. Not as entertaining, but more important than actually watching the training. Man, if you know me personally, you've been close to me for a while, you know that the last, I want to say 10 days, but the last several months have just been insanely stressful. So much going on outside of the gym. Man, last week was just nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'll tell you what, I'll make another video about everything that's happened in the last week and link it down below, because you may not want to hear about that and then watch the training, but it will be important to hear about. I don't want to talk about it before I go train. I was getting sick last week. I think I mentioned that last week. I was getting sick. I could tell, I could feel it, just from stress and everything else. I wasn't getting the sleep, anywhere near the sleep that I needed in order to recover. Especially the bigger you get, the more sleep that you need, and when the more you're growing, the more sleep that you need as you grow. So I ended up on Sunday, woke up in extreme pain, extremely sick, not able to train. So I've missed Sunday. Tuesday, had an appointment on the other side of the country with the Shriners for my youngest son to get his legs checked. Absolutely amazing news about that little dude, but it also meant that I had maybe an hour of sleep before making that trip, and then it was all day traveling and then back here, and then getting only a couple of meals in yesterday. Last night I called the doctor, blessed enough that he came by my house last night, put my IV in and checked on me, and got me moving at least in the right direction. I've got this in, probably take it out tomorrow after I can make sure that I'm on the right path in a positive direction. But here's the point. I don't want pity from anyone. This isn't something where I want people to say, man, you're tough, or you're crazy, or you're an animal. Animals get eaten, and I don't want to get eaten. Here is the point. I want people to understand that you're not the only one, and there are ways to improve performance when you're going through issues like this. I'll tell you something that, it's always blown my mind that people that, you have a hard day of work, hard day of whatever, stressed out, and they just walk in the gym fired up and ready to go. And I think that is an absolute huge mistake. My wife works a very high stress job. And, if you've ever watched her train or been around her when she competes, at the World Championships, before she does anything, I think she will put her shoes on, singlet, knee sleeves, but before she tapes her thumb, before she sets the bar up, she sets down a chair and takes out her yarn, and she just starts crocheting. At least 10 minutes, however long it takes, to be honest. But don't talk to her, don't bother her, nothing. This is her time after her day to come in the gym, cell phone turned off, nobody's gonna call, she's not gonna answer it, and she just sits and crochets and zones out and relaxes, and that centers her. So when she gets to the barbell, she's focused only on the barbell. She's zoned everything else out in her life, everything that's happened that day, so that she can focus on the barbell. Now, I'm getting in my point in preparation for World's Strongest Man that, every rep of every set of every exercise, the thought process is going through my mind, is this the rep where, the bicep tears off, the quads come off the bone, the hamstring pops, it's at that point to where the weights that I'm using, that kind of stuff happens, and I'm pushing my body as hard as I can possibly push. So I need to be focused. Everything has to be right. Every rep of every set of every exercise has to be right. So I come in the gym today, I'm much better than I was yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before and all last week. But the first thing I need to do is take a step back. So what I'm going to do right off the bat is I'm just going to sit here. That's it. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy some quiet. I've got a neighbor somewhere with the radio on. I can hear the clock ticking behind me, and the clock for some reason isn't working, but it's still ticking. I can hear the cats outside, kids walking down the street, all the positive stuff that I can think about. And that's what I need to do, is I need to take a step back and just relax before I come in here and do something else stressful. I don't think the body can tell the difference between an intense set of squats and, you know, taking your child to the emergency room and you know, that situation. I think, you know, CNS stress is central nervous system stress, either way you look at it. So I'm going to sit here for a while and relax, enjoy the calm silence. I've got another bite of food and some drinks that I'm going to drink. I'm going to turn on the radio and let it play until something comes on that I probably like to sing along with. And then I'm going to slowly start turning up the volume. And when my mind is ready, I'm going to load the bar and I'm going to put in a serious training session. So that's my advice to you. If you're in that situation where, you know, life is kicking your tail, don't run in and jump under the bar. Find a quiet spot somewhere. If it's in your car, if it's in the parking lot, if it's at the park, if it's at the gym, this is my quiet space. You know, I can come here and just sit and relax. But do that. Sit and relax until your mind is centered. Don't get under the bar when you're already stressed. Find your inner peace, whatever that is, before you let the demons out under the barbell. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So give me a few minutes. Be patient with me. I appreciate you watching this. I hope it pays off in dividends by the end of this training session. Let's enjoy, guys. Yeah! Mine! Alright guys, about the deadlift here. One of you guys commented on my videos last week. You asked how I tape my thumbs for hook grip. You know, I don't tape my thumbs really to improve the grip. You know, I'll use tape on my thumbs. I began doing that in weightlifting because I didn't want to wear straps all the time. In summertime, you kind of had to wear straps because once your hands get moist, and then you add chalk, and then you're doing snatch or cleans with a weightlifting bar, which is much more aggressive than a powerlifting bar. It just eats your hands to pieces. So straps are just much more convenient, especially on the snatch or on all the pulls. I'm using tape on the deadlift right now because I'm training for a ladder. I can hook grip pretty much anything. I've hook gripped 350 kilograms, 771 for a triple on a rack pull on a squat bar, which is thicker than a regular bar. So I don't have a problem with the pain. What I do have an issue with is sometimes when you hook grip, the bar might slide. Occasionally I've just ran into problems a lot of people do when you're pulling reps. So I'm going to pull probably a set of 3 at World's Strongest Man, maybe just 2, I don't really know. I would just wear straps, but I'm on a time limit and I have issues when I get my suit on, getting down to the bar and getting my straps around the bar and getting into a proper position. So for me, the proper position is more important than wearing the straps. So I use the tape. The tape I use, I'll try to get you some a close-up photo or video. This best translation I can find would be casting tape. This is not athletic tape. It's absolutely not Rick Rock tape or any kind of CrossFit tape. I've looked at Walmart when I was in the States, did not see this, may have to ask for it, but the direct translation that I would know of would just be casting tape. It is a hair sticky on both sides. It has a little bit of stretch to it. All I do is I cut off a couple of sections about this long, and so I'll see if I can show you exactly what I do. Give me just a second. Now I don't want the tape to go around my thumbs twice. This is just a light coat of protection, and this particular tape has a little bit of stick to it. So if you start adding a bunch of chalk when you add this on there, it's absolutely going to not stick and might actually get slippery. Now before you put the tape on, you need to have an idea which direction you kind of roll your thumbs. I have a habit before most of my sets, if I leave it on video, I grab my thumb and I roll like this. And I've always done that. A couple of times I've put the tape on facing the wrong direction, and when I roll this direction, it starts taking the tape right off. So I know I have this habit of, you know, turning my handlebar thumbs like this before I get to the bar. If I'm adding any kind of chalk or just making sure that my hands are dry, you want to make sure that you put the tape on the same direction that you handlebar your thumbs. You also want to wash your hands. Your hands need to be clean. Very important. I've got rubbing alcohol back here. I've already washed my hands with water and then the rubbing alcohol to make sure they are dry and clean. I will just start with the tape. I go this way, so I want to tape that way. I don't need the tip, so I'm not going to be holding it there. I don't need a super stretch, but I do want it tight. And go around that thumb, and then I handlebar. But once I handlebar a few times, it tightens that tape a little bit. Sort of makes a cast, and it sort of sticks together. The big thing about this when compared to athletic tape that you normally buy is I can put this on. You see 1, 2, 3 rows, and I can still do that. You put that thick layer of athletic tape on there, you can't bend your thumb. And the athletic tape is slick. This isn't slick. It's got a little bit of groove in there. You can't use this for powerlifting, guys. Most powerlifting federations have a rule that you can tape your thumb, but only one ply. And clearly, that's gone around it a couple of times. So this is not going to work for powerlifting, will work for strongman, and it does work for training. If you just want to save your thumbs and you know you're going to hook grip, this will help save your thumbs so you're not ripping the skin off, and you're saving the skin to be ripped off on meet day when it really matters. I'll do the same with this. I kind of anchor it a little bit on that fingernail, pull it, go around. Handlebar it. You probably don't want the IV in your arm when you're doing this, but I'm an idiot. And I'll go through this a couple of times. It's on there nice and tight. I can go like this. My thumbs are ready to go. So I'm looking for casting tape. This, even here, this is something like 10 euros for a little roll. They've got different sizes. I'll get this one if I have to. They have a smaller one as well, but this, the thick one, and I've got pretty big hands. The thick one, just, it's a little bit too big, even for my giant hands, but the thinner one is exactly what I need. It covers a little more than half my thumb. I did have training partners that would buy this thick one, and they would cut it in half. Much smaller people than me, but they would cut this in half. The way it would save money, and they could use one on the left thumb, one on the right. So that's the basic idea on how I tape my thumbs, when I tape my thumbs for hook grips. Hope it helps. Now it's time to pull.